In the playlist Going Strong, Ambassador, my next question to you in this video is that the recent visit of Prime Minister Modi to United States, what are its special features and gains for India according to you?
Okay, let me begin with a confession. I'm a veteran of state visits. Okay, I've handled many of them, and I also know the United States well. And it's remarkable that every visit is built up as, highly successful, unprecedented, path-breaking, and so on. So I have a little professional skepticism when these terms are applied, because I know that the MEA has the expertise to make even the more non-essential meeting look very impressive. Okay, but having said that, I think I'll have to overcome my skepticism and admit that this was actually a highly successful and exceptional visit, because I have gone through very carefully the 58-para joint statement issued by the White House after the talks between Prime Minister Modi and President Joe Biden. And when I go through it with a fine comb, I get the feeling that this is not like the joint statements we normally issue, because in other joint statements, we put a lot of padding to make it look impressive. This one is devoid of padding. It is in very crisp, sharp language, and there's a lot of stuff in this. It didn't require much padding. Okay. So, what are the takeaways from that joint statement, which reflects the results of that visit? I will say there's a lot devoted to the two leaders discussing the geopolitical situation and taking note of common positions on global issues. That was expected, nothing exceptional about that. But what I found interesting was, hidden in the text were pointed messages which were very relevant for India. Now, for instance, there is a para in that joint statement which has a warning to any country which seeks to unilaterally change the international system. Now, which is this any country? You and I will know which country it is referred to. It is obviously China. Don't unilaterally change the existing order, or else, is the message. There is also another message, I think, again indirectly to China. The two leaders decided to strengthen the Quad. Now, Quad has already become strengthened, because now the Quad is meeting at a summit level every year. Okay. Now, to say that we are going to strengthen the Quad is another message, I think, to China. And interestingly, the next Quad summit will be hosted by India, in India next year. Okay. There is a pointed reference to Pakistan, and Pakistan is named this time, unlike China. That Pakistan should take note of the fact that it is not taking adequate steps against the terrorist groups that have been listed in the UN. So a warning to Pakistan, which still is technically a military ally of the United States. Now, overall the message is that the US would do its best to help India to become an economic and military superpower. That, I think, is the overall message I get.
Yes.
Let's look at the military provisions there. There are plenty of them. What has India been interested in? In getting the state-of-the-art military technology from whichever source it comes from, and we are able to afford it now, right? But now, increasingly, we are shifting from sourcing from the Russians to the United States, France, Germany, Britain, and other countries. Okay? But as we mentioned last time, the bulk is coming from the US.
Okay.
I am guessing that we have spent almost $30 billion in imports from the US. Now, the joint statement here has even more coming from the US. And two of them are highly significant. One is the decision that GE, General Electric, and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited will have a collaboration under which they will manufacture the latest GE 414 engines for jet fighters. This is a big achievement because we have been trying to do it ourselves, but the Kaveri engine didn't work.
For quite some time.
Now, we need bulk because we want to produce more fighters, and therefore, this is a breakthrough that GE has agreed to collaborate, not only collaborate, transfer technology and manufacture it in India, which will be used for our Tejas Mark II light combat aircraft, which will be produced in larger numbers hereafter. Okay. The second very significant one is that the Americans are going to supply us with larger numbers of what is called MB9Q Predator drones. Now, these drones will have both battlefield and maritime roles. The drones, if they are used on the line of actual control, will give us a view of Chinese troop movements across in Tibet.
Much better surveillance and intel value.
That's right, that's right. Significantly increases it. But these drones also have a maritime role. So India will use it, the Indian Navy will use it to keep track of Chinese vessels coming into the Indian Ocean region. Now, the Chinese are sending more and more of their warships and submarines into our region, and we need to track them for better safety. Okay. So these were some of the important military ones, but equally significant is that America will help us become a high-tech superpower. And Mr. Modi has pushed for it. Okay. So now we have agreements under which the Americans will work with India to produce a reliable chain of semiconductor supplies. This is the most coveted technology, the state-of-the-art technology.
Which goes in India's favor, yes.
And China has virtual monopoly on this. We have to de-link and de-risk with China and start producing it ourselves. So a reliable semiconductor chain followed by manufacturing facilities for the chips in India is a big step forward. Now, again significantly, there is an agreement which I believe our NSA, Mr. Doval, and his counterpart, Jack Sullivan, negotiated, which is called ISET or something like that. Under that, the futuristic technologies are going to be developed in India with American assistance. Not only the semiconductors, not only procuring strategic minerals, not only the drones and the jet engines, but artificial intelligence, quantum computing. Now, we are still talking about G4. This agreement talks about G5, G6, again futuristic. So these are significant agreements where India will become a hub of high technology. The jet engines alone will make India come into the exclusive group of only 5 countries which will have
who are into that, yes.
So I think this is significant. So when you look at how Prime Minister Modi has shaped his policy towards India. It has been entirely to Indians' benefit. Of course, it benefits the Americans too. But he has pushed the boundaries, and he has put in a lot of energy. Imagine that on his first visit to the United States, he was actually fasting and never took anything but a sip of water during those heavy meetings he had. Now, Mr. Modi has gone to the United States 8 times already. And with President Joe Biden alone, he's at 5 summit meetings, and more are coming up. So I think we are at a good position so far as Indo-US global and strategic partnership is concerned.
And this visit would, in different dimensions, come to accelerate the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.